Okay guys, I kind of figured out one of the problems. Turns out I'm stupid. Of course, you all knew that. But, I gotta remind myself from time to time. It turns out that I had to swap the polarity. I was getting negative voltage out. I didn't know it was actually regulating. It was, but I was getting negative voltage out. I was a little confused by that because theoretically that's impossible because we're going through a diode and everything. So, theoretically that's completely impossible and nonsense. Although I figured the regulator was being bypassed because in this circuit there's a ground for the control. The ground on the control, there's ground, there's plus, ground, and minus. And the ground connects to positive. And it has to connect to positive because the V out to control the pass regulator connects to the base. So the base has to be positive with respect to the emitter, and the emitter is what feeds the positive rail. So you need a voltage that's more positive than the positive terminal in order to control the base, which is right here. And what we're doing here is we're bypassing the brain, the control board, and we're checking. See, positive is essentially ground. Positive is ground, and we're 3.5 volts over the positive rail in order to control the base. And this is a Darlington, so you need 0.7 volts more to control this guy, and they're actually a little bit warm, which is interesting. They shouldn't be warm at all. It should handle 30 amps. I'm only passing 5 right now, and they're a little bit warm. That's going to be a concern. We may not be able to deliver full 30 amps if that's the case. Anyway, what I can do, 1.4 volts should be the breakover voltage. See, we're at 0 amps. So 1.3, 1.4, because the junction is 0.65. So that means we need 1.3 volts in order to get into forward bias on the Darlington. So we're at 1.4 at 40 milliamps in order to cause the regulator to regulate. So we're going to bump that up. As we bump it up, we can see that we're regulating. So we're at 80 milliamps now, and a little over 3 volts. So I was passing current, but it was weird because I had everything swapped around, and that's because the way the winding enters and exits, I goofed on that. So I should have double checked, but I made an assumption. I was wrong, and that happens to me a lot. I try not to make assumptions, but I'm usually wrong. So we're going to go back and we're going to check out the control board and see if it's working. I'm not sure if it is or not, but we should get a CV light on, and hopefully it's doing its thing. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll have to disconnect the standby power supply in order to check, but we'll do that in a minute here and see if it's actually working.